Hey girl, hey, it's IFBB Pro Emily Smith
and IFBB Pro Jaden Casa.
Welcome back to the Wellness Girlie Gang
podcast, season 2.
Hey girlies, we are back with a very special guest, Miss Jessica, and I didn't ask you how to pronounce your last name.
It's Oluyitan.
She is a IFBB Wellness Pro. She just got her pro card in December 2025 Nationals. Congratulations. Class C girly. We were just talking about the difference in our heights, but let's introduce you to the girlies. Tell them, your journey, how you got into bodybuilding, and then your journey throughout bodybuilding.
Yeah, so I first started bodybuilding back in 2021. I actually started as a bikini competitor. Just fresh out, trying something new. What kind of made me want to start was I'd been going to the gym for years before even going into bodybuilding, but I really wanted to try and, what's the word that I'm thinking? I really wanted to try and challenge myself in a way. I was super shy, super reserved, and I wanted to try and grow as a person, put myself out of my comfort zone. And I figured getting on stage in a sparkly bikini was going to be the way to go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I did bikini for, I think, a couple of years. Did my first NPC show in May or June of 2022. And then the judges were basically like, your legs are too big. You either have to downsize them or you got to go into another division. So I was like, well, I spent 2 years trying to atrophy my legs. And they just weren't giving in. So we were just like, okay, we're just going to go. So I've been doing wellness. My first wellness show was the Center Podium Mid USA in 2024. Swooped it clean, won overall, and then jumped into, thank you. I jumped into USA's that July, totally got spanked. I think I got 10th place out of 15 at that show. Took a little bit of time off and then did 3 national shows last year and finally won.
Let's go. Out of those national shows, obviously we won the pro card at NPC National. Can you kind of go back to those national shows and tell me about your experience and any highs, any lows?
Yeah, absolutely. My very first national show was with USA's in 2024. And that was like my whole nightmare show experience. Not necessarily because of like the show itself, but the whole trip, the whole planning. Almost missed my makeup appointment, and I think I was like a minute late. I had to sprint, tan, everything. I sprinted for a good 10, 15 minutes, so I lost all of the glycogen in my legs. Got there, sweat off all of my tan. I didn't have any backup tan, so I just kind of had to go on stage and ta-da, this is the best that I can bring. Yeah. So that was definitely like a huge lessons learned kind of show. And I'm so thankful for it. Mostly because I learned a lot. And going into traveling for the other 3 shows from last year, I was able to be more prepared, implement a better strategy with travel. And so I did Junior USA's first and I got 3rd place at that show. And then I did Junior Nats. I think that was 6 weeks later, 4 weeks later, 3. I can't remember how many weeks, something like that. But I did Junior Nats after and I got 2nd. And I was so sad. I was really excited, but I was so sad.
1 spot away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I feel that.
Yeah. But then I actually really loved going into Junior Nats. All 3 of the shows from last year were amazing. And all of my experiences were nothing but positive and wonderful. But I loved my experience going into Junior Nats because I kind of learned how to stand on my own as far as going in for individual routines because that's my weakness. And so I didn't have any anxiety going into that show, didn't have any kind of qualms or anything like that. And I was really proud of just my overall presentation and showing going into Junior Nats. So then I kind of took that from Junior Nats and carried it into Nationals and finally got my win.
Yay. Oh my gosh. So 3rd, 2nd, and then 1st. Yeah. It's like, okay, I'm almost there. And then you're like, dang, I'm right there. If that one girl didn't show up, that would have been your day. Right. And so you can never think of like, oh, who's going to show up on stage, but you try to do your best to show up your best. What helped you kind of like calm your nerves with individual routines? Because I know for me, like it does not matter. I will still shake. Like I will still be like slightly nervous, even though I'm like, I'm excited and I'm happy and I'm not like necessarily nervous, but I think it sometimes just like your body just does that. Did you do anything in particular to help calm your body? Were you shaking?
I was definitely shaking. I don't think I'll ever kind of get rid of that shaking, but I think what really changed. So my coach's wife is a mental health therapist as well, and she kind of introduced me to, I forgot what it's called, but it's like I can't remember what it's called. It's a type of therapy where you kind of like you envision what makes you nervous, and you try to associate like one of the best moments in your life to that situation to kind of help rewire your nervous system to like feel the excitement and the calmness from the really good experience. And then for her, she helped me with anchoring like that feeling into touch. And so what we ended up doing in my front pose and in my side poses, I always have my middle fingers and my thumbs touching. So we associated that touch to those like somatic kind of cues to help me with just like calming my nervous system, calming my mind and all of that.
I like that. I'm gonna have to try that. I love that tip. Yeah, because I'm like, I don't know if I'm like thinking of how I would do that therapy. I'm like, I know I'm so excited, but sometimes I'm like, I feel like I can't see. Like I'm first of all blind. I know you wear glasses. But I'm like, I feel like I've had that moment or that dream where you like step out on stage and like you're blind and you can't see anything. So, interesting. I like that though. And so you are class C. Tell me about your height and everything that we kind of talked about before we got on this call, because that was a good conversation.
So most people, especially a lot of podcasts and a lot of coaches who discuss, especially right now with all the controversy with heights and whatnot in the pro league, the rule of thumb was always that during prep, people tend to shrink as they're prepping. So they end up coming in a little bit shorter than what they normally are. But I'm the opposite, because when I go to the doctors and they height me, I'm 5'4" right on the dot. But almost every show that I've gone into, I think except for USA's, I've always come in at 5'4.25". So then I get bumped out of class B and I end up being the shortest in the lineup for class C, which I don't mind. But it's interesting that I get taller going into a show rather than most people who shrink going into a show.
Yeah, that is so interesting. Do you think it might be posture? When I think I know when I'm real lean, I feel like I can just get that lifted, especially in our front pose where some girls kind of like crunch down, right? They're like they're leaning so far back in their hips that they almost crunch forward in their upper body. My one coach yelled at me when I got second and third at Universe, which was again one spot away, similar to you. Because I got second in Masters, third in Open. I think that's how it is.
Okay.
You have to have first in Masters and first and second in Open, win the spots.
Okay.
And he was like, stand up. Cause like I was like dipping on one side and I was like, God damn it. Like I fixed it at finals, but as we all know, it doesn't really matter at finals. They've already like picked their placings, which is kind of annoying. Because I'm like, man, I could have fixed that. And I could fix, that little thing. But I fixed it for the next show, of course. And I feel like I was just like taller. Do you feel like it was posture wise or it's just genetics or prep?
Or just something
weird
odd.
Phenomenon.
I could definitely see it being posture, especially because whenever we're practicing our posing, I'm a posing coach as well, off on the side, on top of the million other things that I do. But I know that when I'm posing, I also try to like be mindful of kind of bringing my chest up and being a little bit taller in my upper body. So I would not be surprised if it was something along the lines of posture, just because we're so used to doing our poses and our routine and even our walk. We tend to stand a little bit taller whenever we're doing our stage walk. So I could see that 100%.
Yeah. And being on the shorter end of Class C, I feel like that was a little bit an advantage for you, especially wellness, right? Because, you know, we are seeing some shorter girls, the taller girls like me and Jaden, and even taller do have to fight for building those legs. Let's talk about how when you were bikini and had to tone, like basically work, what, 2 years to like trim down the legs. How have you been feeling like now where you're like embracing that bigger lower body? Kind of talk about that process.
I have said it, I think I've said it on Instagram and said it a million times before, but going into wellness was one of the best decisions that I ever made, because when I was in bikini, I almost felt like I was a square peg trying to fit into a round hole. And it never quite felt like me. And
Yeah.
so going from bikini into wellness, it opened up a lot of opportunities for me as far as with my training. It brought back my love for the gym, because when I did bikini, I couldn't do legs. I could do glutes and then I could do upper body, but my whole training style had to change in order to atrophy my legs and basically like make my whole being a lot smaller than I guess like what I'm used to. Whereas going into wellness, it helped me just embrace myself, my genetics, my love for lifting super heavy. My coach always has to like pull back on the reins with me because sometimes I'll try to lift too heavy and he's like, please stop. And so wellness is my home, I feel like, within the bodybuilding realm.
Yeah, I was figure actually before wellness. I competed in 2021 also as my first show in figure, and I won in overall at a very local show. And when I say won in overall, there were not many girls, right? And especially figure, your local shows, your amateur shows before nationals. There's not many girls, unfortunately. When you go, bikini is very, very populated. Fit model is also very, very populated now just because of the lower barrier to entry. And some of the bikini girls that were not big enough go to fit model. Then obviously there's wellness, which it's growing. I still would say like it's pretty small at some shows, but figures even smaller, like maybe 4 women total, like across all the classes and everything. And I too had to make my legs a lot smaller. It was not fun. Like all of the cardio, all of the HIIT training, and which was funny because my background coaching was with HIIT training. I was a group exercise instructor before I was a personal trainer, and I liked it until I started bodybuilding, and then I was like, I don't really like HIIT style training anymore. Oh my gosh, I was so miserable. And still I feel like I wasn't lean enough, especially for figure. Like you have to be real lean. My upper body looked great and everyone complimented my chest split, which is funny because I don't have that now. I'm having augmented boobs, but and not training chest for the wellness division.
Yep.
So it is interesting going from one division to the other, but I think the importance is finding a division that your body and you generally gravitate towards, but also like can love and enjoy. Because I mean, this sport, if you don't love it, then why are you doing it? It's a very intense sport. It requires a lot of dedication and discipline, and we want to look our best on stage. So like we will do whatever the coach says to do to get our legs in whatever shape they need to be. But I was so happy that the wellness division came out, and I was so happy to be like, okay, now I can actually push my legs harder. And that was so, so fun.
I do love that. I love that you brought up just like how the wellness division is so new, and that like I feel like it did have like a small blip of time where it was a super popular division, just because a lot of women, for the most part, they really want to have just that overall shape, the big glutes, the big lower body, the very like curvy stature. I feel like a lot of that just appeals to a lot of women.
Yeah.
And then I always feel bad because there's some girls that they think that they have, that the shape that they need for wellness until they start dieting. And I always like
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a huge, huge thing because, and a lot of girls, they may just not have the muscle, right? They don't have the muscle yet for it, but they do like the division, and they maybe have the shape. Like we could probably work with that, like at the local levels. But once you get to the national stage, like girl, right? When you probably got what you got 10th out of 15th, you were like,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
let's take a little bit more time, grow, because you were cutting your lower body down for so long. Now it's like, all right, shift gears, we have to grow. So yeah, I mean, it does take a lot of time to build muscle. I was growing for 2 years before I did wellness. I took a 2 year break between figure and wellness. And I mean, even then, like in figure, I was still growing my legs to an extent, right? But just like the prep part of it was how I had to get like super lean for the legs.
Yeah.
So I don't think a lot of girls understand that. It does take a lot of time. And if you're natural, which I know a lot of girls listening could be, it's going to take even longer.
Hmm.
Like you
Yeah.
actually have to eat food.
Yeah.
That's
And
another big
sleep.
thing. Yeah, you have to eat, and you have to eat more food than what you think you need to eat. You have to train harder, really put that time and dedication into both of those things to grow. Now, if you're
Hmm.
enhanced, we may be able to like push that trajectory a little bit sooner, but still like you have to have that muscle to have that shape for wellness.
Yeah. I agree. And I also think even if you are enhanced, you still have to put in just as much work as the girls that are natural. It's
Yep.
just you get a little bit more help with on the recovery aspect. Whereas
Hmm.
girls that are natural, they have to emphasize recovery even more than that.
And I feel like they don't like to accept the recovery part too, because they're like, oh, more is better. I don't need to sleep that much. I don't need to like take this many rest days. It's like, actually, girl, you do. Like, you don't need to
Mhm,
be training 5 to 6 days a week. Maybe 3 to 4
mhm,
is a good sweet spot for you. And so that you can recover. Because another big topic we'll talk about is a lot of you girlies are full-time employees, right? You're not self-employed, you're not able to work from home, you're not a stay-at-home mother. Like you actually have a full-time job that you have to wake up, go to, be present at, put your hair and makeup on, and then pack your bag, go to the gym whenever whenever you can, and then meal prep, and then whatever your other duties are, right? Being a wife, being a dog mom, being a mom, all that stuff. So let's get into that. Let's
yeah.
tell the girlies what your job is and how you kind of managed becoming an IFBB pro as a full-time employee.
Yeah, absolutely. So outside of the bodybuilding realm, I actually work as a paralegal. I work your standard 40 hours a week, all that fun stuff. Right now I'm supporting, I think, 4 attorneys, so I'm very busy. I have a bunch of, I mean, those 8 hours a day, they're constant. They're not even like, they're not chill by any means. I'm always moving, I'm always working, I'm always doing stuff. And so implementing a bodybuilding prep while also working a full-time job and also a really busy full-time job, it was really difficult at first. It took me, I mean, I got used to it because I was been a paralegal for 8 years. So it's
Okay.
nothing new to me, but the bodybuilding rigidity and the routine was something that it took a little bit of time to really fine tune. When I was doing my bodybuilding prep going into nationals, I was working, I think 8:30 to 5:30, and I hated that schedule, but I had to work with it. So like
Mm-hmm.
husband and I were up at 4 in the morning to go and do cardio. I prepped our meals in the morning, sent him off, sent myself off, made sure that I hit my meals because I think I got like 3 lunch meals in a day. And so I would hit all of those meals at certain times of the day. And then
Mm-hmm.
after work, I would go to the gym, hit my post lift cardio, go home, try to fit in some kind of me time. I'm so sorry. um, had to fit in some kind of me time that evening, and then I had to do it all over again, get up at 4 and work through the day. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the easiest for sure, but I think one of the biggest things is kind of like, what is your priority in your life or what in your
Yep.
specific chapter? So like if you, regardless of what is going on in your day, I mean, I've never really been a believer in everyone has the same 24 hours because everyone's priorities are different. Everyone's routines
Yep.
and lifestyles are different. But I think like you prioritize what's the most important to you, and then if it's important enough, you'll make it happen, and you'll just have to figure out a way to make it work.
Yeah, I couldn't have said that better myself, honestly. Yeah, because I mean, it's not like we're competing all the time. It's not like we're in prep all the time. So maybe if you have other things in life and your family needs you more, that's your priority, right? But if you're prepping, you have to make that your priority. You have to really, like you said, wake up earlier, do your check ins, do your cardio, do everything. You have to just do it, and it'll maybe suck for a little period of time, and you may have less free time, but then you see the beauty of all of that added up into what your pro card win and all of that, which I mean, everyone wants that pro card win.
Yeah.
And we all strive to get that. And now you're prepping for your pro debut too.
I am. Yes, I am. I think
So
I'm
excited.
10 and a half weeks out now from Legion
Okay.
Sports Fest.
That's so exciting because you did the Legion Sports Fest as an amateur, right?
I have not. I've done I've done a lot of center podium shows because that's the main NPC promoter here in New Mexico.
Okay.
But I've never done Legion, so I'm really excited to go out there and see what Legion is like.
Yeah, that looks like a really cool show. I remember Cassandra Gillis was at that one last year.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very cool. I think it looks pretty well run. So excited to hear your journey. Let's go back to working full time. How do you how do you handle it? Because you're on the go with your job, right? You're very busy. How do you handle like the stress and how to manage your stress, especially when you're in prep?
So that's actually, it's taken me a few years. It's nothing that I like found the cure for just randomly out of the blue. I am very guilty of, sometimes I can have quite a bit of anxiety, stress, but a lot of it was more so like kind of learning, thanks to my coach and my husband, controlling what I can control. And if it's out of my control, then it's really nothing that I can worry about. I mean, if the building decides to set fire while I'm in the middle of a prep, like there's nothing that I can really do except, just manage, or I guess like I can control how I react to stressful situations and then just let everything else kind of roll off of my back. And it's taking me years to figure out how to do that. Plus, I think when I was prepping for nationals, I was so focused on just bringing the absolute best that I could going into nationals. I literally had blinders, like nothing. We could have a zombie apocalypse and I probably wouldn't have even noticed because I was just so focused on bringing my best and bringing something that everyone like wasn't expecting. So I was just, blinders were on. I had my nose to the grindstone probably that entire prep, and nothing kind of phased me. It was just right over my head.
Yeah, I mean, control your controllables, right? It's a huge lesson to learn for anyone in the fitness journey, not even competitors, that, we can't control everything that happens in our life. So relinquish that control, but you can control how you respond. I mean, as an IFBB pro, now you have girls looking up to you, being like, I want to be like you, Jessica. I want to be you. I want to be a pro. I want to do the things that you do. I want to be and do my pro debut, all of that stuff. So do you feel like you have to hold yourself to a little bit higher standard than you did before? Or did you always kind of hold yourself to a pretty high standard when it comes to that?
I think that I've always held myself to a pretty high standard, mostly just because like growing up, I'm an only child. So growing up, I was kind of the one that like my family depended on and that kind of stuff. So I've always had that standard in my mind. And I'm also not one that, I don't really get emotional that often. So like my husband makes fun of me because he says I have two emotions. I'm either happy or I'm mad. So like there's nothing else that will really faze me. And so I think that like now that I am a pro, now that I do have a lot of eyes on me, I'm holding myself to an even higher standard of, now I'm setting an example for other people, and how I react to things, other people will see or will have an opinion on, or you know what I mean? So I always have it in the back of my mind of like what my reactions are to some things and how I certain stressors. I lost my dad at the beginning of this year, or right before I
Oh my
started
gosh,
prep.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, thank you. I
Mhm.
appreciate it. I know it was rough, but it was even then, like, I oddly enough, this is the second time I've lost somebody during a prep. I lost my best friend
Oh my
during
goodness.
my during my prep in 2022. And I know it's those
Mm.
preps are always interesting.
I had a client who she lost her best friend during her prep too. So yeah, it's very, very hard. And she's after prep, she got the help, like mental support and therapy that she needed, and she's at a much better place. So I hope you are in a much better place too.
Yeah, I mean, oddly enough, I think since this was kind of my second go around of having a death during my prep, I felt like I was a little bit more prepared for it. But I also
Mm-hmm.
handled the emotional side and the mental side of that loss a little bit better with this prep than I did before. And I think mostly it was more so like my preparations of letting myself kind of feel my feels, letting
Mm-hmm.
myself grieve the way that I needed to before even deciding to start this prep.
Mm-hmm.
My coach was he's so supportive, but he was very much so like, how are you doing? Do you think you can do this? And like I sat
Yeah.
with myself for a minute thinking like, is this something that I can put my 150% in, or do I need time?
Yeah.
And so I think like because I sat on that for a little bit, making the decision to start prep was a lot easier because now tying into like how I handle stress
Mm-hmm.
during a prep and kind of like having people watch me from the outside or from all aspects. I try to represent myself and I try to tie all of those things together with when stress happens, when loss happens, during a prep, before a prep, after a prep. It all boils down to how are you going to handle it? Are you going to internalize it, which wreaks a lot of
Mm-hmm.
havoc on our bodies,
Mm-hmm.
or are we going to try and navigate it the best that we can and kind of control how we react and how we feel the feels outside of outside of that bubble of control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think you said you had was it your posing coach or coach's wife was a or a therapist?
Yep. My coach's
I'm
wife. Yeah.
sure that helped you along your journey too.
Yeah. She was very good. She's very supportive because she helped me a bunch with just all the logistics of losing my dad. But
Mm-hmm.
she was very good. And I think everybody kind of needs this in their life period, but especially during prep, having somebody that you can connect with and that you can kind of just vent to without
Yeah.
feeling like, you're just whining and complaining, but just kind of word vomit and just brain dump it all on someone and just let it out.
Mm-hmm.
And she
Yeah,
was that way
true.
for me.
Yeah. You really need that. I mean, and people that won't judge you too for it, anything that you say, like it can be very much like, hey, I just need to get this out. I don't want to be judged for it. I just want to say what I need to say. And they can find ways to support you. I know with my clients, I do have a brain dump at the end of their check-ins so that literally anything they're thinking, I'm like, just ramble, whatever you want to tell me. And I get like paragraphs sometimes, and I'm just like, yes, that's what I want to see. When I don't see
Mhm.
anything, I am actually concerned. I'm like, I know you're thinking about something. Like, I know there's something going on.
Oh, yeah.
So I know that you said when you were growing up, being an only child, that you were very shy. Has it taken you a little bit to kind of like be more vulnerable and be more, I guess, open and honest with the people around you and your coaches?
Yeah, it's taken me a little while. My husband did a lot with like giving me the space where I could kind of express myself and not feel like I'm a bother or
Yeah.
feel that kind of way. With my coach, he also gave me that space. I adore my coach because he can handle me whether I'm prep Jess or like off season Jess because they're very different. Because I'm a sassy and like direct person already, especially as
Hmm.
after I hit 30. But when
Oh,
I'm in
yeah.
prep, I'm a little bit sassier and I don't have the filter. So
I
he
love
kind
that.
of like takes me as I am and he embraces it because sometimes I'll walk into check-ins with him because he's local for me. I walk into
Nice.
check-ins with him and I'm like, I feel like I'm a raging monster today. And he's like, okay, cool. Let it out. What's going on? What, and sometimes he encourages it. I'm like, Jojo, stop. Don't encourage this.
Don't encourage the monster.
Yeah.
Don't feed it after dark.
Pretty much. Yeah.
That's funny. I mean, honestly, I tell my girls, I was like, you can be a diva. Like, this is your time and prep to be a diva, especially show day. That girl, this is your day. What do you need? You can, be frustrated. You can be whatever. Like, because I know that that's how I was. And on my show days, I'm just like, all right, we got to be here. We got to do this. I need you to do this. I need you to do that. I'm a little bossy. Like,
Yeah.
I need your help with this stuff so I don't have to deal with it. So yeah, I think we're allowed. Like, I feel like we get a pass.
I agree. And I think it's also because especially when it's show day, we're so focused on bringing like perfection into to that day, and especially, or like during peak week especially. I'm kind of a raging monster during peak week, I won't lie. A lot of the time I try to just stay quiet and I'll just like kind of USA until show day. But I think like because I have the support of my husband and also from my coach, Jojo, they know how to handle me. They know that I'm going to be a raging monster, and they are already equipped to kind of handle it and be like, okay, Jess is just kind of feeling sassy today, so we'll just give her a minute. And then we just go on with our day.
Yeah, like this is just Jess's normal for peak week. We get it.
Yeah.
Like, don't think otherwise. We're just gonna keep going. Yeah. So you are a posing coach also.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Tell us about that experience. Tell us about some of your girls. Anything you want to share?
So I absolutely love being a posing coach. I think like the biggest thing that I really love about it is watching my girls go from being kind of insecure and kind of hesitant to hit the mandatory poses and whatever our routine is, to all of a sudden you just see them blossom into these like super confident women. Their heads are held so much higher. They feel super good. Because they know that they look good. And I get to see them like flourish into even more like outside of bodybuilding. And it's like my favorite thing in the world, like helping these girls and getting the opportunity to just watch their journey from the very beginning to when they hit the stage is like mind boggling for me. Cause they always teach me something, but also it's like this beautiful story that I get to like literally watch unfold before my very eyes. My girls, so I have fit model girls, I have bikini girls and wellness girls. I want to venture more into figure and women's physique. I'm actually learning from my coach kind of what the strategies are, what kind of what the criteria is, and just how to bring out the best in everybody. But everything that I do is always custom to my girls. So whether what their shape is currently, and then as it evolves through prep or through their improvement season, sometimes they hate me because I'll switch things on them. All of a sudden, we're 6 weeks out and the other side is like a killer shot in comparison to the side we've spent 11 weeks practicing. And so I feel bad whenever I do that to them, but it always ends up like they end up loving it in the end because they look better, they feel better, and then they have my support because I'm pretty much on hand for them. They send me videos, they send me all kinds of stuff like along the way. But I think like I don't really have more so a favorite as far as division goes. When I'm posing my girls, I think I just love bodybuilding. So any division that I get to teach and that I get to share my passion and love for, it just makes me happy.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. Like, you just get that immediate just reaction, especially in one session. Like, one session, you can literally get some girl being like, I don't know, really timid and shy, to being like, wow, I really like this. Like, I really enjoy this. This was great. Cause I always like to ask at the end, every session, like, how did you like this? How was this for you? Is there anything else you want to review or go over? To make sure that they get everything out of that session. So I love that. I love that, them just growing and blossoming as women. And I actually have something to unbox on
Ooh.
that note.
Yes.
Live unboxing. Okay. No, I was not paid to do this. But since at least myself and Jaden are taller girlies, the Shoe Fairy came out with a new shoe. And it's for tall girlies. So this is really cute. They always give you...
They give you all of the goods. Oh, yeah.
They give you all the goods. Yeah, we'll take one out. And I always go with the Olympian, the one with the strap. I don't know about you. I'll make this go up a little bit. I don't know about you, but I like the strap. Figure, I was doing the mule, and then I did the strappy, because figure, we don't really do spins. We're just doing quarter turns. There's not a lot of, especially spins. But if you add a spin in there, especially for wellness, and bikini, I would say a strap. What about you? What's your preference?
My preference is actually the opposite. I adore the mule and the strappy more so because when I had the ankle strap, I felt like I couldn't move as easily. And going from side to side, I almost felt like I was locked into the shoe rather than having the shoe kind of work with me.
Oh, okay. I like that. Okay, so this is a shorter heel.
Oh, okay. That's the 3-inch heel, right?
Yeah, and then like, what is this, like a 1/2-inch platform? I think I have my
Cute.
other ones here too. Hold on, hang tight. I'll be right back.
Interrupt this episode to tell you about Violate the Dress Code, performance apparel made to be seen, built to enhance your curves, support every move, and turn heads. Violate makes you feel unstoppable the second you put it on. Bold energy, zero apologies. It's confidence you can feel. Train harder, walk taller. Violate the dress code, built better. Don't forget to use code COACHM, COACHEM at checkout.
Yes, because my strap broke because I was so aggressive.
Same.
So aggressive. The strap, like, that was the old one.
Oh, wow.
That's not even the bad one. There's an even worse one. Okay. So, and then they got the reinforced ones, right?
Ooh,
the
okay.
reinforced plastic is fire. Like, if you don't have this, it's amazing. All right. So this is the platform.
Oh, wow. That is a noticeable difference.
Mm-hmm. And then the heels. So yeah.
That's awesome.
And then these are the shorter ones.
I
So I'm going
actually
to
love
put these
it.
on my next check-in and see, just because I am all leg, and this may actually make my physique a little bit better, sitting in the hips a little bit better. So I'm very excited to try these. Thank you, Shoe Fairy, for making these for us girlies. Use code COACHM if you want a discount. Yeah, that's so exciting. I do a bunch of posing seminars in the area, so I like to bring my heels, and I'm a size 8. I'm a typical, a lot of girls are size 8, so they can use my heels and wear them during posing seminars if they want to like try it out. But thanks for letting me do that. Back to you, Jessica. You've talked a lot about like your husband being very supportive. How is he supportive to you? What kind of things like stand out? How can other partners be supportive for their spouses in the off-season prep in life?
Yeah, so one thing that's really beneficial now in comparison to before, so he competes too. He's in men's physique. He started competing, I think a year ago was whenever he first started.
Oh, wow.
And but before that, he was just your typical gym goer. He was very supportive of me whenever I first started, and it was a whole learning curve for both of us, going from bikini all the way over to wellness. We had a lot of adventures when it came to bodybuilding. We learned how cranky I could get when I'm hungry. We learned how spacey I get as I get closer to peak week, and especially during peak week. And I mean, he's been such a trooper, because I mean, I definitely was not my best version of myself for some of those bikini preps. And I mean, he just powered through it and just kind of let it roll off of his shoulders. But as far as what he does to help support me, I mean, he does a lot. He is very much so like my emotion and logic, like, regulator. Every now and then I'll get set off by something, and I'm like, am I being crazy? Or is this justified? Like, I cannot figure out anymore which is which. And he kind of talks me off of the ledge. He's very good about, like, If I forget something, he already has it in his gym bag and he's ready for me to start looking for it. He just reads my mind. But he's also like, especially when we're prepping together, he's very good at knowing when to push me and when to help pull me back. Myself, my husband Albert, and my coach, we all have a running joke that I'm either a cyborg or I just don't have an off button because I just won't stop. And so sometimes he kind of has to be the one to be like, okay, you're 6 weeks out from a show. You probably shouldn't be trying to lift 300 pounds. Can you just pull it back a little?
Mm-hmm.
And then same thing, if I'm being a little wimpy, he knows how to communicate with me to push me without like irritating me. And so he's just become like a very important part of my whole bodybuilding journey. I wouldn't be able to do this without him. That prep into nationals would not have been able to do it without him because he helped keep me kind of together throughout that whole prep. And when I was really bad about looking out for my own well-being, he was right there ready to push on the brakes, pull me back, and kind of redirect me into something a little bit less extreme and crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so needed. Like I understand like not everyone has a partner or a spouse or a significant other that they can rely on. So it is a blessing to have. And it's the other huge thing is like in prep, that is probably the most important relationship that you can keep together. Because I mean, one, maybe they're living with you, right? If you're married. So there's that, and you want to have some peace at home. But I mean, again, it's a marriage. At the end of the day, like you are your spouse's partner and for life. And so this prep is only a short period of time in your life. And so really just making sure that you're focused on those relationships. And I know it's hard. Like, girl, trust me, it is hard. I got my pro card 2 months before I got married.
Jeez.
So we were planning our wedding. We weren't planning my last show, but when I got second, like when I was one spot away from winning my pro card, just like you understand, like I didn't realize that there was another show after that I could do. I didn't realize there was Masters Nationals. I just turned 35 last October before. So I was like a baby 35. Like I was just a baby Masters. And I'm like, oh my God, I can do this show. And then I asked other people like in the industry and they were like, yes, do this show. Like you need to do this show next. And it was 2 weeks away. We didn't, financially plan for it. We didn't, vacation time. My mom actually had to drive up with me to Pittsburgh. And then my dad and my husband drove up like Saturday, like that day to come or whatever. So like he couldn't take any more time off. And we were planning our honeymoon, that same year
Jeez.
and our wedding, a few months later. So it's very, very important to just honor and respect those relationships and just that's the one you want to pour into. Obviously, some friendships may fall off or you may be like less communicative to them. But I know like at least my friends, I'm like, hey, they understand, right? I'm going through this thing. It's for a period of time. And I swear we'll hang out after. How do you manage your other relationships, like your friendships, your job relationships, like with your boss and things like that?
Love that we're touching on the whole topic of like friendships, relationships, and whatnot. Because I do think that having those relationships and the friendships and positive relationships really goes a long way within a bodybuilding prep because then you have your circle
Mhm.
and your people. For
Yeah.
me, I keep my circle pretty small anyway, but all of my friends, I've been doing bodybuilding, I think, for 5 years now. So they're
Yep.
all used to it at this point. But for me, like I prioritize my friendships in the same sense that like they also understand me and my bodybuilding prep and whatnot. If we get invited
Mhm.
to go and hang out with friends, we'll go and I'm perfectly happy to go. I just bring my meal prep with me. And if I'm being offered, hey, do you want some cupcakes or do you want cake? I'm like, you know what? I'm good. I appreciate you asking me, but I'm good right now. prepping for a show, but as soon as the show's done, maybe we can meet up and I can enjoy some sweets with you then. I've been a big believer in like kind of changing that mentality within prep of, instead of saying like, oh no, I can't, and dang it, or making it like a negative connotation. I try to reframe it to where like, what, I'm good right now, but thank you. I appreciate you asking me, type of thing. And all of my friends, they're so used to it at this point, like they don't even care. If I come up with my meal prep, they just kind of sit there and they're like, yeah, she eats like a bird, it's fine, or not like a bird anymore now that I'm wellness. But they're just so used to it. Or they'll even try to incorporate my prep foods in with whatever we're doing. Like if we're having a dinner, sometimes they'll be like, heck yeah, let's have a healthy eating night. So that way we all can kind of do what Jess is doing.
Yeah. I love that.
But I think like hanging out with like people that fill my cup helps me do better within my prep, because then it's not as isolating as it normally would be.
Yeah. I mean, because it can be very isolating, especially depending on where you live, right? Like some people may not have access to really good gyms, like bodybuilding gyms with specialty equipment, or even a community that has like posing seminars that you can go to. Or even like there may not be a bodybuilding community in your area like at all, and you have to drive to a totally different state, because there is that. I don't know if there's anything in Rhode Island, random, like random state, like I don't know, no idea. New York, yes, New York Pro, okay. I'm like, but Rhode Island, I don't know. Vermont, very small, like I don't know. They may have to drive to different states for that. But I like what you said, because I had my birthday was October, and then my first figure show was in November. So for my birthday, I still wanted my people around. We served burgers, we had candy because it was like Halloween kind of themed. But I just had my, diet soda. I had my electrolytes, my water, and my food. And I probably had 2 meals by the time they had 1 meal. Because us, we have so many meals in a day. The general population that eats maybe 2 to 3 meals a day, we eat like 5 to 6 or 7 sometimes. So I love that. And I love, like, I think especially your people, they start to see what you're doing. They start to see how you look. They start to see how you feel, and like how well you're doing in just all things in life, right? Because I think bodybuilding does, the discipline and the drive does translate to other aspects in life. Maybe your job, maybe you've just learned some things to do your job better, be a better wife, or be a better friend. And they're looking up to you, even though they may not like do everything that you do. They're still like, well, if Jess eats like this, maybe I should eat like this every once in a while so I can get healthy. And I love that, having a healthy night. That's so nice.
I know, it's so wonderful whenever they do that for me. I never expect it, and I also never like I never like to make people feel awkward or uncomfortable, if I have my meal prep food and they're eating something different. Because I know, like, there's some people where they kind of feel a little uncomfy because they're like, I'm eating a burger and, this chick is eating beef, broccoli, and rice. Like, she must think that, I'm super unhealthy. And I try to break that discomfort with being like, dude, that looks amazing. Please tell me how it tastes whenever, like, when you do take a bite, like, share it with me, because it looks amazing. Because I normally don't, I try really hard to not let people feel like I'm judging them, because I'm following a completely different lifestyle than somebody else. Because I think everybody has their own balance, and it's not my place to judge or to, what is the word that I'm trying to say? Or like try to force a certain thought or, anything like that onto them. Because, my life is my life. Their life is their life. If they want to have a burger and a milkshake and some ice cream, more power to you. I wish I could, but I'll get to whenever I'm done prepping for Legion.
Yeah. What is your favorite like free meal? Like your go-to free meal, or maybe 1 to 2?
My favorite is our burgers and fries. I'm in a special place in my diet and my prep where, for the most part, I'll get weekly, if not bi-weekly, cheat meals. And we use it as like a strategy with like my leg days. I I'll have a burger and fries the night before I do quads, and then another one before I do like my super heavy leg days. And my coach loves keeping those in because he gets to see me a lot fuller the day after. And then we're using all of those carbs and all of those calories towards like a super crazy workout. And so my stomach is really sensitive. So for the most part, even post show, I'm still going to have a burger and fries.
I love that. Do you have a favorite brand of burger fries, like favorite place that you go?
I love going to Red Robin.
Oh, Red Robin is so good.
Yes.
Oh my God, I love their French fries. They literally have
Same.
the best steak fries.
Oh, yeah. I get the garlic
Yeah,
fries. And then my husband and I are crazy because we eat a lot of food. For as small as
of course.
for like as short as I am, I can eat, and so can he. He's huge. And so usually we'll go to Red Robin and we get like 2 or 3 baskets of fries and like our double patty burgers. And people are like, how are they able to eat all of that? And we just throw it down. And then we keep leaning out, and then we keep getting better like throughout our prep and going into our show. And
I love that. It's like, how can they eat that? Come watch us train. Just follow me in my shoes at the gym and you will know why I can eat this much.
yeah, anytime I have someone that's like, oh yeah, like let me do a leg day with you, I'm always like, do you really?
Do you really want to? Maybe I need to sign a medical release like waiver
Yeah,
or something.
100%. Because sometimes I'm like, I'm gonna make you cry, and I love you, and I'm excited that you want to try it, but I promise you, you're probably gonna cry, like at least once. Yeah.
One of my friends, gym friends, a new gym girlie, Ashley. Shout out Ashley. She's like, oh, I want to train with you one day, and she's so cute. Like when I grunt, she goes, and I was like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah, I'm like grunting, like, the last couple of reps, and we're really just trying to push it out. And then we're like, maybe a few more.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't grunt, but my face gets really red because I'm really dumb and I hold my breath. And my husband is always like, I always know you're going to fail whenever your head looks like it's going to explode. And I'm like, great, thank you. Glad you know what I look like when I'm about to fail.
Yeah, that's a good sign. Yeah, that my husband's was like when his eyes were like about to pop out of his skull. I was like, bro, like I think you're done. Like I don't think we have money to pay to put your eyeballs back in. Don't have that money.
No, and that's probably not comfortable to just have them.
No. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. What's your favorite, not your favorite muscle group, obviously, to train, because we know that's legs and glutes, but like favorite piece of equipment or a couple of pieces that you really enjoy and like connect with?
So I am as old school as it gets when it comes to my workouts. Like my gym doesn't have any of the fancy equipment. It has like super rusty metal plates. It has squat racks that kind of like wiggle around whenever you rack it just right. I mean, and I love it because it's just a whole vibe for me. It gets me in the zone and I'm ready. My favorite movements, I think I love like heavy back squats. Oddly enough, I really love doing Bulgarian split squats.
You're psycho.
I know.
You're psycho.
I know. Everyone always tells me that.
Do you just do them with a bench and dumbbells, or do you do barbell?
I have to do them with a bench and dumbbells just because of I have long legs and like a short torso, so I have I have the whole like long femur thing. And
same, yep.
If I'm too upright, it actually hurts my hips when I perform the movement. So I had to figure out all kinds of stuff. I have terrible hips from 10 years of riding horses, and so like Bulgarian split squats, it took me like a year to really figure out my own body mechanics and how to connect to my glutes because I use it primarily for glutes. And it's taking me so long, but now that I have it, I'm like, I'm not giving these up. These are amazing. Yes. But those are my two favorites for sure.
You're a psychopath. But those two work though, right? Because you have a heavy just compound lift basically, and that's, I mean, a back squat is going to have your quads, your hams, your glutes, even your calves, to be honest with you, and some of your back. And then, the Bulgarian is like the, just single leg isolated movement where then you're doing kind of like obviously the knee flexion, you're stretching the glutes out. And so that's just like a different plane that you can put your body in. I love those. And it's so funny. I don't do those as often anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, once I injured my knee, squats, at least barbell squats, and it's funny, I like maxed out on barbell squats, and then my knee was like, oh, decides to,
We're not going to
you
do it.
know, I don't know what it wanted to do. It still gives me issues, which is kind of annoying. So I do like you, like with your hips, like we have to kind of figure out a different way to perform movements. And I really love this one piece that's at our gym, Vintage Iron. And it's like it's almost like a chair squat, but it's like a machine. So it has a flat back to it and it pendulums down, and you can, if you put your feet far enough forward, you don't have to do the knees over toes, and it's all fucking glute and ham. And like I think it honestly hits like the weakness that I had with barbell squats. So I feel like it's actually helping to train that weakness. And I feel like the next time I do barbell squats, I'll probably be stronger and probably won't hurt my knees as much. That's my thought.
Hopefully. Yeah.
Hopefully. And Bulgarians are hit or miss. As long as I keep that knee just upright, not over the toe, and try to focus more on the glute, then I do really like Bulgarians. Like I really do connect with those a lot. I love my kickbacks. I love my hip thrusts. I love doing different types of hip thrusts, like, you know, shorter range of movement, like the cast kind of like glute bridge hip thrusts, even glute bridge, like barbell glute bridges, underrated, but very effective.
It's so funny because hip thrusts and glute bridges are literally the one thing that I hate more than anything when it comes to lifting. Yeah. My coach, I think I avoided doing them. I've been with my coach for almost 3 years. And for like a good year and a half, I was just avoiding them like no other. And then junior Nats, my feedback was they wanted like a little bit more density in my tie-ins. And he was like, time to suck it up. You need to do the hip thrust. And I was like, no, I don't want to. It just makes me mad because when it takes me longer to set it up than it is to actually do it. I have to play K-pop in like my headphones. I have K-pop blasting because it's the only thing that'll make me happy while I'm doing hip thrusts. Because otherwise, I'm just like an angry gremlin.
You're like, I need something happy to like put me in that spot.
Yes.
Yeah, especially if you have an old school gym. I mean, you're doing the barbell and then you're adding the plates on the floor, likely. Do you guys have a, what is that thing called? A jack? Like a deadlift jack?
Nope. All I have, I put like a 2.5 pounder right underneath one of the plates. Yeah, I have that, or I will 100% gym princess it and like text my husband and be like, hey, can you rack this for me? Can you help me with this? And he'll come over and he'll throw the weight on me.
Yeah. I feel like by the time I get like 3 plates on, guys are seeing me like grab more plates and they're like, here, do you want this? I'm like, here, just put it on.
Yeah.
Put it on for me. And especially at the end too, when we've got like 4 or 5 plates per side, I'm like, okay, I need help. This is a lot.
See, and I can't even do 4 or 5 plates. For me, 2 with hip thrusts are my max. Otherwise, they start hurting my hips. So I can only 2 is my main. And so my coach just has me like, he just loves to torture me. He will have me just do like super slow and controlled and then like explosive up. Oh my God. I just want to die whenever he makes me do that.
Probably like 2 second hold to the top or something.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
He's not nice.
That's when my husband comes over. He's like, it's all about the squeeze. It's all about the squeeze. Like, you gotta hold it. I'm like, okay, I'm holding it. Yeah, I feel like oh my gosh, that was like my bread and butter. I feel like hip thrust, because even when I started personal training, I started doing that at like the YMCA. I would use those aerobic boxes, like stack those up really high, push it up against a brick wall, and then I would start doing them. And then luckily we have like a Smith machine, and then we've got this like Smith machine glute builder piece of equipment, which honestly is very heavy. Like it's actually heavier than the Smith machine, and the bar is very thick. It's not my favorite, but when it hurts and I feel sore the next day, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll try that again.
Yeah.
Because if it's effective, like I want to keep doing it.
Yeah. It's the one where I have to literally hype myself up to get myself to do the hip thrust. And I normally I'll do that one first just so I can get it done and over with. And then I'm like, okay, now I can go on to something else.
Yeah, I feel that way with squats just because I have to warm up my knees, I have to warm up my hips, warm up my glutes, and then put my knee sleeves on, which, girl, those things, I don't know if my quads are getting bigger or I'm getting fatter, but like I'm trying to pull these things up and like I'm like, come up, they've got to come up. And these are my hand-me-downs from my husband, and these are mediums. I'm like, do I need to go to a large and knee sleeves? That's insane to me. So just getting the knee sleeve, and I use straps too to like pull it up. It's easier when you have leggings, I will say, because the leggings are already like compressing your body down. But when I have shorts on and I'm sweating, I'm like, this took me 30 minutes to just like get ready for squat.
Yep.
But then I love them. I love them. They're great. Like they make me feel awesome. And I'll do like another set just because I'm like, why not? Just fuck
Yeah.
it.
Oh yeah. That's me 100% all the way. My coach always has to be like, okay, you're done. Like, stop. Just stop. Let's move on to the
Yeah.
next.
Oh my goodness. Well, we could talk for hours. This has been awesome. What piece of advice would you give aspiring wellness competitors kind of to get into the space?
I would say fall in love with the journey. The stage is always going to be there, but really enjoy the journey. Take pictures, especially when you're starting out. Take pictures from beginning to end. That way you can kind of see like how far you've come throughout this whole journey. That would be my biggest thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Take pictures. Not just selfies in the mirror, not just selfies in the gym, like actual like try to do some check-in pictures because it's really cool to see your progress. And at the end of the day, like it's you versus you, right? With your pro debut, like we're not looking at the other pros that are competing. It doesn't matter. Like this is comparing your last show to this next show, how you've gotten better, and then even comparing to like your bikini, like the first time you stepped on stage as a bikini athlete to now, it's like that's so cool to see all of my progress and how hard I've worked because it's you and the judges are judging you. They're not, they're not being like, oh, I mean, obviously they're comparing you against others, but they don't know your journey. They're just comparing what they see on stage. So if you can get that comparison of like, oh my God, I've done this. I know, especially with lifestyle girls or girls that just want to compete and they're like, oh, I'm not there yet. I don't look like Emily. I don't look like Jessica. I don't look like Cassandra Gillis. It's like, well, you're not supposed to. You're really not supposed to unless you're like this crazy genetic freak that has been prepping or like planning and growing for 5 years and now you're finally stepping on stage, right? And you look like a pro. That happens once in a blue moon, to be honest with you. Most girls are gonna look like, hey, maybe they're a little bit softer, maybe they don't have the shape 100%, maybe we're shaking a little bit because we're nervous. That's okay. It's part of the journey.
Yep. I couldn't have said it any better.
Well, Jess, where can the girls find you? Do you have any brands that you support or like your posing coaching? How can they find you there?
So the best way to find me is going to be through Instagram. It's going to be my Instagram handle is jessicao.ifbbpro. From there, don't have anything quite yet as far as for my posing stuff. Everything is just through that one. But yeah.
Awesome. We'll reach out to her there. It was so good meeting you and getting to know you and just kind of sharing your journey with all the girls. We will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.
I stopped it.
This episode is brought to you by Wolfpack, gear built for life on the move. From backpacks, duffel bags, to meal management bags, Wolfpack keeps you ready for the gym, travel, and everything in between.